And we know that the Falcons are looking to make every decision and every moment from now until the start of the season count. And so they have a little dilemma that even 24, 36 hours ago, we didn't know about. I'm sure Arthur Smith knew about it. Why? Because Charles London is actually, it's a difference because, of course, last season, everyone was coming in from the Titans and from the Bears, respectively. Now we have a coach going out, and that would be Charles London. He got a promotion to passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Titans. So that obviously leaves an opening on Arthur Smith's staff for his quarterbacks coach. But here's the thing that I thought was interesting, Jarvis. As I started thinking about it, I said, granted, taking nothing away from Charles London and the importance of a QB coach, but the Falcons are still in the dilemma that none of us will actually know how it plays out until either April, maybe free agency will show us earlier, but possibly April, if we're really being honest, when the draft hits, right?
Right.
But I think the question is this: does it really matter who the chosen candidate is for the QB coach position? Because the biggest thing is the Falcons have to decide, are we building around Desmond Ritter? Are we going to go out and try to draft another quarterback? Are we going to try to get a starting QB in free agency? Or do those factors weigh in? Or Jarvis, let's be real. Does it even matter? Because at the end of the day, you can just sneak the QB coach into Dave Ragone's responsibilities because Arthur Smith is still the play caller.
I think the latter is what I would go with because when you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, like you said, Arthur Smith, calls the plays on Sundays. We know
Right.
that for a fact, right? And then Dave Ragone has the official title of offensive coordinator, so he
Mm-hmm.
helps come up with the game plan throughout the week, and they kind of
Right.
go back and forth. And I'm sure Arthur Smith, trusts him enough to be able to come up with
Mm-hmm.
a efficient enough game plan, so he can just
Absolutely.
worried about calling his plays accordingly on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with Charles London out the way, we know that Arthur Smith and Charles London worked previously together, so that was an opportunity for him to upgrade, to promote, have a promotion within the organization
Right.
with somebody he worked with before. So
Exactly.
this is another opportunity for him to kind of grow, and we know what he's trying to do. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Arthur Smith, hey, I think nothing changes for them,
Right.
because
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
guess what? Dave Ragone is going to have an opportunity to be closer to Desmond Ritter, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure their relationship has already been fostered because Dave
Yeah.
Ragone has played quarterback in the NFL, and he kind of understands what
Mm-hmm.
it means, and these are his words. He understands what it means to not be, to not succeed that much,
Mm-hmm.
from an expectation standpoint. He
Right.
knows what it takes to kind of work to get better. So
Mm-hmm.
guess what? He's going to have to work up his quarterback coaching skills, and I think that Dave Ragone will be the guy. Now, our friend of the show, Tori McElhaney, threw
Mm-hmm.
a name out there that I thought was
Yes.
very interesting. She
Yeah.
said maybe TJ Yates, who's now
Mm-hmm.
the wide receiver coach, he may be able to jump into that saddle as far as the quarterback coach. Now, of course, that'd be
Mm-hmm.
a promotion for him.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But I don't think it's gonna be a determining factor as to what decisions they make going forward, whether it be free agency, bringing in a quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
or drafting a quarterback. I don't think those play factors at all.
No, I would agree with you. And there was something great that you just mentioned as well, a point that we didn't even talk about before the show, and that is continuity.
Yeah.
Because if you are leaning in the direction as the Falcons, potentially leaning in the direction of Desmond Ritter, then you've got Dave Ragone as your OC. Let him be slash QB coach because
Yeah.
he's already started to build that rapport. He's already seen what Desmond Ritter can do. Desmond Ritter's already been in the system for at least 1 year. So yeah, I definitely like that thought that you had about the fact that there is some chemistry, some connectivity, and some consistency there that can only actually bode well in his favor. So yeah, best case scenario, I just think maybe you add that to the title for Dave Ragone. And when I
Yeah.
say second,
Give
I'll
a
say
little
not
bump in pay,
worst.
of course. You know what I'm
Of
saying? Like,
course,
we won't
yeah,
let
because we
nobody work
all
for
want a
free
bump,
on this
right?
show.
Yeah, we all want a little. Hello.
Sweeten the pot a little bit. Like, hey man,
Yeah,
we'll have a couple thousand, you know what I'm saying? A few
absolutely.
thousand or
Yeah,
tens of
right.
thousands, like however you want to do it, baby.
Yeah, and it adds to his resume because who doesn't want somebody who's a quarterback whisperer, right? And
Indeed.
then the TJ Yates option is not a bad second scenario, if you will.
Right.
I think that's fine. The one thing I would say is I suspect they're going to keep it internal because of the very thing that you just mentioned, which was keeping that consistency if they're deciding that they want to develop Desmond Ritter and kind of see how he goes. Now, speaking of consistency, one of the things that the Falcons have done as well is kind of do a little poaching from the Saints
Mm-hmm.
organization, Ryan Nielsen being the most recent poach, if you will. So we had to have our guy Chuck Smith on yesterday to talk a little bit about that. And he gave us some interesting feedback on what his thoughts were in bringing Ryan Nielsen on in that DC role and how that might impact this Falcons defense.
I hate when I have to go there because it sometimes takes time for guys to develop.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
everybody come in after their first year and get 10 sacks.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
not, you know what I mean? So I think even if Arnold came out this year and was average, there's still a development phase for him. So we all put pressure on him because we know we need that, but
Mm-hmm.
there's such a development phase. But I think
Yeah.
believing in him, but also him taking control of his own career and improving on some of the techniques that he didn't have last year.
You know what, T? I
Mm-hmm.
think Chuck said the very that is the most important thing that he said right there. He
Mm-hmm.
said development because
Yes.
we've all been focused on who they're gonna bring in, what free
Mm-hmm.
agent they're gonna bring in, who they're gonna draft. But I
Right.
think regardless of what defense you want to call it, it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
11 people on the field. And
Right.
guess what? Some of the guys that were a part of that 11 last year, they're gonna be on the
Mm-hmm.
field again this year.
You're
So,
right.
and I think that you're gonna have to develop those guys because
Mm-hmm.
guys like Arnold Ebiketie, D'Angelo Malone, Troy Anderson, all those guys need to be
Yeah.
coached. And I think
Indeed.
that's what Ryan Nielsen needs to worry about as of this moment, the guys that are already in the building. And
Mm-hmm.
he's been doing his due diligence as far as having conversations with guys. He said he talked to Troy Anderson, I think almost 3 times already. So
Exactly.
that's good. Troy needs
Yeah. Yeah.
all the coaching he can get. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. T, why you shaking your head like that?
Because you that yeah that was that low key shade, but okay,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay, my brother. Keep it real.
I'm sorry, like like mind you, I was literally real funny story, right? So I was
Yes.
literally thinking to myself the other day. I had got the little video breakdown on my Twitter page pinned up,
Right.
right? And I
Mm-hmm.
haven't taken it down
Yeah.
just yet. And I think that I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, you know what? Probably need to do a little dig into some more film and see, later
Mm-hmm.
on in the season, see if the guy did progress in my eyes. A lot of people say he did. The NP say he did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to go off of what I see. You know what I'm saying? Like my eyeballs can catch on it. But yeah, I think because that shade that was a little low. T. I think I need to cleanse myself. I
You're
need to
gonna.
go watch
I
some
was gonna
film
say
on
clean it up.
Mr. Anderson and
Yeah.
see,
Hug
if
it
he's
out.
gotten a little better. Yeah, yeah, hug it out, man. We keep it funky over here, but it's all love, baby.
Let me get him back on track.
Yes, thank you, T.
Yeah, we were talking about Troy Anderson and the progress, for example, that he needs to make and his development. And we actually
Oh,
think that
goodness.
Ryan Nielsen could be the guy who could do it.
Yes.
And Jarvis, in addition to that, I think there are just enough individuals who are retained on the defensive side of the ball who can give him some insight that he might need. Some of that scouting that you just talked about,
Yeah.
that they can, some internal scouting, if you will, to tell him, hey, this is where these guys are, talking about the guys up front. But also, we talked to Chuck about Cam Chancellor
Mm-hmm.
and an Earl Thomas. And those are
Mm-hmm.
some guys that Ryan Nielsen has developed. So we can be encouraged about maybe what he'll be able to do with the likes of a Richie Grant or a Jalen Hawkins.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody who is concerned about what in the world they're going to do with Charles London, or what in the world his replacement that is, or what in the world they're going to do with Ryan Nielsen, well, you know what? Bill bars always calm everybody. And
Yes.
why? Because
Yes.
from what everyone says, it's a woosah situation and it's a delicious treat. And if you're somebody who likes cookies and cream, and I saw some stat a couple days ago that said it is the number one flavor for just about anything. candy bars, ice cream, you name it. Cookies and cream is a thing. Double chocolate if you're a chocolate fan, or coconut puffs as well. They have it all for you. And what I really like is we live in a world of convenience, right? So whether you think convenience is about being online, then you can go to build.com and still get those bars. But convenience might also be because there's a Wally World on every corner. So you can go to Walmart and get it. And of course, Big Wally World, you can also get those bars at Sam's Club now. And again, Jarvis and I continue to be on our health journey. So only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar. And that's important because, hey, if you come from a family like mine that is full of diabetics, you're always looking at the sugar content of what you eat. So this will allow you to be careful with that sugar content. And now they're up to 17 grams of protein. And remember, the protein that they use makes that bar really soluble. That means it gets down into your system really quickly and you are able to get energy from it. So again, if you are still stressed out about what's happening in Flowery Branch, or real talk, if you're wondering what in the world is going to happen between now and 3 o'clock tomorrow at the trade deadline, get yourself a Built Bar and it'll make everything okay.